Schon Pocket pens for a couple years now. They started to have a presence online on Instagram, and then I actually saw the Schon Pocket pens for the first time at the DC Pen Show. I think it was like 2021. I was like, okay, those are intriguing. I was a bit nervous about the price though, so I didn't jump all over it. This year I went to the DC show and saw Schon, and I actually went to the DC show this time with the intentions of finally getting a Schon Pocket pen. I personally am very fond of pocket pens, so I went and I took a look. I was actually hanging out with Sarah Beth from Pen Chalet. I got to meet Brian Goulet. He's like a rock star, right? So here's the situation. I was hanging out with Sarah Beth from Pen Chalet, and we were talking to Brian Goulet, because I approached him. I was like, this guy doesn't know who I am, but I'm sure he's approached all the time. But, you know, I'm kind of a fan of Brian's. I've been watching his videos for a while. I was talking to Brian, and I've met Drew. I met Drew at at the first DC Pen Show, and met him again last year, and then he's such a cool guy. So Drew walks up to us while we're talking. He says, oh, check out this pen I just bought from Schon. And it was the Pocket 6. It was the faceted Pocket 6. And he got like that new monarch nib installed in it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so Sarah Beth and I, we went, after we were done talking to the guys, we went and walked over to the Schon table to take a look, because I was like, holy crap, I think I really want one of those pens now. And I ended up buying one, this one. The Schon Pocket 6, isn't it beautiful? There was some colors to choose from for it. There was a variation like pink and purple, which you would expect that would be the one I got, right? No, it was this green and blue one. I was like, okay, that's just absolutely gorgeous. I really love those colors. And I was thinking in my mind, all of the inks that I could, you know, use with this pen. There's so many beautiful inks. One in particular was Three Oysters Aqua Green. I was like, that would be, you know, it's a mix of green and blue, perfect for this pen. And that's actually what I have in this pen right now. I wasn't really much paying attention to the price of the faceted version of this pen, because the regular version, which is just, it's smooth and it has like an anodized pattern on it. If you look at the Schon website, you can see what I'm talking about. And that went for $165. I didn't think that the faceted price would be much higher. He rung up this pen, and it wasn't Ian himself, who I did talk to, nice guy. It was a fellow that was working with him. I don't remember his name, so sorry fella if you're watching this. The pen ended up being $260. I really wanted the pen though. And I mean, to me, at $260 for an aluminum, it is aluminum, pocket pen, that was a bit much for me, especially if you consider, you know, the price of Kaweco pen. One of those fancy Kaweco metal pens, they're around 200 or lower, right? Wow, okay, I can't believe I just did that, you know, it was like, but I really like the pen. It doesn't come installed with a monarch nib, that's actually separate. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But this pen comes with just a Yovo nib. Nothing really special. So it's teeny tiny, you know, you can write with it if you don't want to, but when you post it, this is what I like about it, is when you post it, you get more of a full-size writing experience. And I like that it's so compact. This pen does come installed with a number 6 nib. Most pocket pens, it's a little number 5 nib. I don't mind the number 5 nibs. I prefer a bigger nib. So I was pleased that this does fit a number 6 Yovo nib. So if I wanted to go buy like a Yovo 14 karat gold nib to install in this, I can do that. Like Kaweco, you have to get like, it's a proprietary situation. You have to actually go and buy their gold nib and all that, but I can go find a deal on a Yovo nib and put that in here. Plans in the future is to maybe get one of those monarch nibs. I don't know. I can't bring myself to pull the trigger on that because it's a little expensive. Monarch nib can run from $385 to $425. That nib is like a whole other thing. It's like the nib and the housing is one unit. They create all that stuff in-house over in Philadelphia at Schon Design Workshop or whatever. After my big spend on this pen, I decided, I was like, okay, was this a mistake or not? That was my big question. Did I overspend on a pocket pen or not? I made a post on Instagram kind of explaining that. Some people were like, no, Shons are badass. They're great. You're gonna love it. And then there was like, oh yeah, that's a little much for a pocket pen. So everybody seems to be, you know, it's on the fence. It's kind of weird. It's like you love it or you hate it. I mean, everybody loves the pen. I mean, the price. Well, let's take a deeper look at this pen and see what's going on with it. So one of the things I do like about this pen, so look, if you can see inside of there, kind of right here on the edge, you can see a little red ring. There's an O-ring in there to seal the pen when it is tight. And you could feel it when you turn it. You know, it feels like a nice, tight fit, comfortably tight. Another thing I like about this pen, and that, you know, there's a lot of attention to the details that are paid. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys or point out is the section. I love the curved section. It's very comfortable, very. So Ian, when he designed this, the guy had to have been a fountain pen user prior to this, right? This wasn't just some venture he jumped into. He is likely a lover of fountain pens and has certain aspects of pens that he loves that he placed into this design. So there's that. Now, if you look closely, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the section goes over the nib housing just slightly. So that way, when your fingers are positioned over it, you're not gonna touch the nib at all. I like that because I tend to write closely at the bottom of the section. And there are times where I, you know, slip and my finger does touch the nib, but this actually prevents that from happening. At least for me, it does. Let me take off the barrel. It uses a short international cartridge, and it's not proprietary. So you can just get any cartridge you want. This pen actually came with, there it is. Came with its own packet of cartridges. Inside it has 2 black, 2 blue, and 2 empty cartridges. What I ended up doing was taking an empty cartridge and I filled it with that 3 Oysters aqua green. So that way I can match the color to this pen. Comparing the price between the regular Pocket 6, which is a smooth finish, to the faceted Pocket 6, there's about $100 difference between the 2 models. There's gotta be a reason why this costs so much more. It's gotta be the process of making the pen, right? With regards to the German nib and the ink cartridge, everything is made in the United States, everything. And I think that's really cool. I support small businesses in the United States. I mean, I'm from America. Why shouldn't I support those brands, right? I contacted Ian and I wanted to know more about the faceting process. Is this a tedious process perhaps? And that's why, you know, I'm trying to justify the price of this pen. Like, why did I spend this much? Ian himself designed the faceting process, even the faceting pattern, which take a closer look at the faceting pattern. It's very distinctive. It's very attractive. From far away, it kind of looks hammered, but it's not hammered, but you look close up. And so it's an alternating pattern. I asked him, I was like, okay, so how is this cut? You know, does it take a lot of time? Is it super tedious? And pretty much it's completed on a CNC machine. And each facet of this pen is cut individually. So I imagine that takes a massive amount of time. It's quite intricate. It really is. And everything about this pen, everything fits perfectly together. I mean, it is a very well-made pen. They don't do the anodizing process on the pen themselves, which is the color that you're seeing here on the aluminum. That is actually sent to another company in Philadelphia to complete, and I believe because there was some red tape on licensing that Ian needs to get in order to do this in-house. Still all American, you know, which is very cool. The making of this pen, you know, it's cutting it and then it going through the CNC machine to get the facet, taking it out to another shop that actually anodizes the aluminum. They probably charge their fee. So, okay, it's like, okay, to me, that made sense. The price makes sense now. They're gonna issue these basic Jowo nibs. I think it would be more special perhaps to have like the Schon Design logo on it, you know, but that would probably bump the price on the pen itself. So it's like, okay, well, I'm cool with it not having a logo, but I think that would make it more special to get this pen and it has like a logoed nib on it, even if it's just a Yovo. There's other companies who do that. They get their company names engraved onto the nib. To me, that always makes the pen more special. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the video of the inking, and I couldn't unbox it for you because it came in like this little tube, and I can't find it. I looked all over this office, so I can't find the tube. So probably after this video is recorded, I'll find the tube, and that's just how it goes. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the inking and the writing sample of this little Pocket 6 pen. $260. Now, if you were to add the monarch nib that is created in-house at the Schon Design Studio or the Schon Design Warehouse, I don't know what to call it. If you were to include the monarch in this price, it actually goes up quite a bit. So you'd have $260 plus $385 for like a base, you know, without any anodization on it. So, I mean, that makes a pretty expensive pen. They actually do color the nib in-house over there. So that's the one thing that they are doing. And guys, the monarch nib is gorgeous. It really is. And I really would like to, but I would like to get one. But I have to justify that price as well. The monarch nib between $385 and $425. So, you know, that would make this into a really, really expensive pen. So that's a bit much, but the monarch nib is titanium. So I'm sure a lot of that price goes into the materials and the manufacturing of that nib. So, which I appreciate it, because if you see the nib the design is really, really cool. And I really hope that he patented that design, because I don't want anybody to steal it from him, because that's actually really smart. Price of this pen, yes, I do feel it is a little expensive, but after doing the research behind the pen of what it takes to make it, I understand the price. I'm not saying that $260 is a big spend for a pocket pen, okay? A pocket pen that doesn't have a 14 karat gold nib or a special nib, it's just a basic nib. So that's my personal thing. Another thing that I did find on this pen, and I'll show you, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, is so the quality is really good. Okay, the quality on this pen is great, but I did notice on the section, and you don't even see it, it's very slight, very, very slight. So that's why I'm not even bothered by it, but I do want to point it out. Right here, right there was a little scratch on the metal, but it's underneath the barrel when it's screwed in. So I don't even see it, doesn't even bother me. But I do know that this was produced in-house. As far as the price is concerned, I'll let you guys, you guys can make your own decision about that. I have a couple of pocket pens here on my desk that I can compare to. So the first one I will compare to is the sizes of this is the Mont Blanc Bébé. When they have the cap on, the Pocket 6 is still smaller. The Litz Post, you can see a difference here, because the Bébé is a baby. It's a little baby. I posted these two pens. The Schon is actually bigger than the Mont Blanc. So, and you can see, you know, the Mont Blanc has a little number 5 nib on it, and the Schon has a number 6 nib on it. So the next pen I have to compare it to is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. So here's the Schon with the cap on and the Sailor with the cap on. Posted, the Schon is a little bit smaller, but still a pretty impressive size for such a tiny pen. Again, the Sailor comes with a small number 5 nib compared to different pocket pens, which I think is really interesting. You know, the difference in prices though is as you know, the Mont Blanc, how could I not? It's so adorable. It cost a pretty penny. I was paying for the name brand, but it also comes with an excellent writing 14 karat gold nib. I mean, excellent writer. Bouncy too. And the Sailor, as you know, Sailors come with excellent 14 karat gold nibs. The Schon doesn't come with a 14 karat gold nib yet. You know, I mean, these are pretty comparable in price, you know, the Sailor. I will be honest, I am happy to have the Schon pen. I do love it. I am enjoying it very much. It's, you know, it is unique. It's different from the other pocket pens out there. I don't know if I will have a bunch of Schon pocket pens in the future. I'm very happy to have this one. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, I do have my eye on that very expensive nib. And I did test it out at the Schon table at the DC show, and it writes really nice. So, and I know that they tune those nibs too. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll have to check in with Drew Brown and see how he's liking his pen and, you know, take it from there. That's really all I have to say about the Schon faceted Pocket 6 pen. And the reason why it's called the Pocket 6, by the way, is for the number 6 nib, and it's a pocket pen. So there you go. Yeah. It's a summary of the pen. That's really all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And that's how the ink